one thing I want to talk about is a couple technical issues that y'all ran into when you were working on your finished logo designs. I know some of you said you couldn't get it to save as JPEG. Some of you had trouble converting Photoshop to InDesign. So I'm going to attempt, emphasis on the word attempt, to share my screen with you. Oh, okay, we have the infinity screen. Can everybody see this nonsense? Okay, so let's get off this infinity screen. But that's pretty wild. What I want to show you first of all is how to save a finished file. Let's say you finished your InDesign file, but you need to save it as a JPEG. Couldn't tell you off the top of my head which one of you said, "Ooh, I need some help with that." But here's how to do that. So first of all, you're going to obviously open your Illustrator file if you're working with Illustrator and you want to save it as a JPEG. I know several of you we're talking about how to give you the option to save as JPEG. So if I go to save as in Illustrator with my logo, you'll notice exactly right that there is no JPEG here. You got PDF, you got the Illustrator file, a couple other things, EPS, that sort of thing. You'll notice there is no save as. Screen is going off. Can't see clearly. I don't have a way to fix that right now. Let's have to proceed. But please, again, continue to communicate. If you guys are having problems seeing what I'm doing, something like that, please let me know. And I can always just try to do some screen caps and show you if I need to. What you'll need to do, though, in Illustrator, if you want to save a JPEG, is you're going to go to File, and instead of choosing Save As, you're going to Export and choose Export As. How many of you just in the chat can see this? Okay. So all we got to do is go to File, Export, Export As, and then that's going to give me an option for a lot of other kind of more common file types like a Photoshop file, a TIFF, that sort of thing. But you also see here listed if you go to Export As in Illustrator, you then choose Save as JPEG. When you do that, it'll ask you what color mode you want that to be. Again, if it's going to be printed, that'll be CMYK. It's going to only be online, electronic, digital. That's going to be RGB. It'll also let you choose your resolution. I don't know why you would not choose high resolution unless it's some huge thing. So you're going to choose high resolution, hit OK, and that's how you save it as JPEG from Illustrator. Questions about that? We got to go back to the infinity loop so I can see the chat, unfortunately. Questions about that? Just in case some of you needed to do that. Okay. So the next thing I want to show you how to do this is also a couple of you had questions about this. What if you have a Photoshop file and you can't get that to convert to Adobe Illustrator. So the next thing I'm going to do, again, this isn't maybe applicable to everyone. I will eventually need some types I mentioned before this week is through. So I want to make sure and show you how to do some of the things that you run into maybe Sunday night or whenever you were saving your final project. So let's go to Photoshop real quick. And I made a not so great debate team logo just so I could use something as an example. So let's say we've got a finished logo in Photoshop, but we want to make sure that that's a vector-based image, not a image that's going to have pixels in it. So like we talked about, if you zoom in Photoshop file enough, you're going to see all these squares that look fuzzy. Those are the pixels. Those are the dots per inch. Okay. So we don't want, obviously, the image to be fuzzy, because if you're going to print this on a t-shirt, if this is going to go on a banner, you want that to look sharp. You want that to look nice. You don't want it to look fuzzy, pixelated, or messy. So to do that, we need to convert it to a Illustrator image that's going to be vector-based. So one thing that you want to do in Photoshop with your .psd file is, before you open this in Illustrator, if you have a background color that's not essential to your logo. So for example, right now I have this obviously standard white background. But in theory, the debate team might be putting your logo on a coffee mug. They might be putting it on a bag or a hat or something like that. So not necessarily just a white bag or a white hat either. So we want a background layer, or you can even delete it if you would rather. And that'll bring up kind of a checkerboard pattern in Photoshop. See how the white background is gone and we have gray and white check? That's just Adobe's way of saying that the background is now transparent. Are y'all still with me? Still okay? Thanks, Cody. Thanks, Hannah. Thanks, Will. Awesome. Okay, we're going to save it. So we have our now db.psd file. Okay? So let's say we want to save that in Illustrator. Let me close this out real quick. So I guess the first thing to mention is you go to File and Open in Illustrator. And because these are all Adobe programs, it is Creative Cloud. It is formerly called Creative Suite. It's made so that these programs can all, play nice together, work well together, and open each other's file types in most instances. So you can actually go to Illustrator, go to what is clearly your Adobe Photoshop file, and hit Open. And then you'll have this box that asks you, what do you want to do? Do you want to flatten your layers into a single image? I would not recommend doing that. You're just going to lose your ability to make any kind of small edits or changes if you need to. You're probably going to stick with this top option. That's easy for me to say. This is convert layers to objects. Hit OK, and this will open your kind of finished file in Illustrator as an artboard on a canvas. Okay, so if you only get to here, if image trace does not work for you, you can still go to File, Save As, and choose Adobe Illustrator File. If this is all you can get it to do, you're okay. For me, for this project, and for Mr. Bourne. but you can save it as a .ai file. Obviously, I did this once already, but I'm going to hit yes. Then it's going to ask you a couple things. Do you want this to be something you can open with a PDF? All the defaults here should be okay. Hit OK. So for me, for this assignment, all you've got to do is that.